The Dads That Game radio podcast is brought to you by Video Games Monthly. Video Games Monthly is a monthly subscription service that delivers retro video games to gamers who own classic gaming systems from the 1980s through 2000s. And the best part is, you keep the games. Check us out at videogamesmonthly.com.
Live from his wife's basement, still gaming into their elder years. This is the Dads That Game radio podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Wolf and William Small.
Welcome back to the Dads That Game radio podcast, spinning hits every week for 117 episodes. Yeah. How you doing tonight, ladies? All right. All alone? Because your men are playing video games? Sounds good. Well, I'm Michael Wolf. With me, as always, is my friend William Small, and we're here to make your night a little bit better. How you doing, William?
I am lovely, I guess.
I went to Kansas City, and this is how I'm going to talk from now on. This is my voice. Yeah.
That's your Kansas City voice?
This is Kansas City Mike spinning all the top hits of today's video games. All right. That's like Matthew McConaughey almost. All right.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. No, I had welcome to show 117 for those paying attention. Obviously, check out our website. Go to www.noobsandpros.com. Just click on the tab that says Dads That Game. Hey, guess what? If you go to our website now, you'll see a new addition to our website. I'm not going to tell you, but you can comment about it. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Nudge, know what I mean?
Yeah, know what I mean. Also, check us out Thursday nights on the Podcast Radio Network. Thank you to them. Please support them. Use their apps. Go download the Crikey app, tune into 102.6, or use the TuneIn app and search for the Podcast Radio Network. You can find us Thursday nights, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to our friends at Player One Coffee. Visit their website, www.playeronecoffee.com. Type in Dads That Game for first-time users for 5% off your first-time order. We do thank you them. Yeah, it's been a flippin' busy week, because I was away. I was away for a whole week for work. Met a wonderful couple down there, that I actually, they work at the Kansas City IRS office. I was down, training their individuals, and, went down with my friend that I work with. She's like my sister. She's like my little sister that I've known her for like 8 years, and we've just developed this really, great friendship between the two of us. But I got to go down with her. Hi, Melissa. I don't know if she's listening or not. But we just had a blast. And this couple, his name was Mike and her name was Gina. They just pretty much adopted us for the week. I've never, for me, like I've never experienced hospitality like that. Like I've never really experienced that. Like people that actually want to hang out with you and want to be your friends. We develop new friends for life is pretty much what happened with this couple.
Yeah. Cool.
I never experienced that before, because when I went down to Vegas, it's like I was busy during the day, but like at night, like I was on my own. Like, people didn't want, we had dinner a couple times with people I worked with, but it's not like I met a new family that lived there and like pretty much now I'm, like their stepson, but that's kind of how I felt, when I went down in Kansas City. This couple they just loved us. Took us out every single night, took us, to some really great restaurants. We went down to this restaurant named Jazz, which is like a Louisiana Creole kind of restaurant. I had oysters for the first time ever. I just want to let you know, I know you're from the East Coast there. I don't know if you've ever eaten oysters. I don't get it. I really don't.
No, they're horrible.
The thing is you don't chew them. You just swallow them.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like you just load them up with whatever. So you load them up with, your hot sauce or your lemon or, some people were using horseradish, which is, I did not. I used hot sauce and lemon, which I was perfectly fine with. But you gulp them down. You pick up the shell. You just let them slide down your throat. I don't get it. I really don't. Yeah.
Don't
ever
be
chew
fooled into think that it's something that you should do. Don't ever do it again.
Sure. Well, here's the thing. Like, I'm cool with trying new things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in, obviously, I've been in Kansas City before, but I've never experienced the city. Like, I've been to the zoo. I've been to, Worlds of Fun, which is the amusement park down there. I've been, just done the, kind of touristy things. I've never actually experienced the city, gotten a chance to go to some really great restaurants. I got to go to a Chiefs game, saw Green Bay play. It was fantastic. I just never experienced it before,
Oh, that's cool.
So it was really, really cool trip. They took us to this really cool place. It was timber and something, but basically it's a axe throwing range, which is the most interesting thing you could ever think of as a concept for a business. But they are making it; they're making a killing off this place. It's basically they just have lanes. It's like dart throwing, but you throw axes.
Yeah.
So we did that. It was a blast. So, but then I got back in Friday. And I already ordered Strange Brigade, and I want to talk about this because this is our game of the week. I ordered Strange Brigade, got it Friday. Been playing off and on with Brian and Sean, obviously from our group Noobs and Pros. A lot of fun. I'm gonna actually. Have you been playing Divinity 2 on PS4?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'll let you talk about that in a minute because I'm actually really curious about that game because I've heard mixed reviews. I know Strange Brigade's getting mixed reviews as well. I agree to an extent for Strange Brigade, but that game is flippin' fun. It's just it's fun to play in a group. I mean, it's very Left 4 Dead-ish. Obviously, just waves of enemies and enemies coming after you. Obviously, it's not like Left 4 Dead because it's not like there's a. I would say another game that was free this week, and I don't know if you guys got a chance to play it. It's too late now, obviously, but on Steam, Warhammer 2, Vermintide, whatever. That game's exactly like it's exactly like Left 4 Dead. It's just in the Warhammer universe because like they have like smokers and things like that will come out and blow up or capture you or appear and kill you. I actually got to play that game on Saturday night with a group of friends that I normally play with. But the Strange Brigade, it's straight out of like 1930s Egypt. And it's like, the mysticism of Egypt, so it's like you're an archaeological crew on this, journey to, discover this, I guess this one scientist unlocked, this kind of a demon or ancient spirit out of, Egypt. And it's raising the dead. So it's, mummies and, just all kinds of crazy things coming after you at all points in time, like, minotaurs and things like that. But it's a lot of fun, So I had a blast playing the single player, had a blast playing the multiplayer. The multiplayer is where it's at, especially if you have a group of friends to play with. Just a lot. It's a fun party game for friends. I would definitely recommend it if you guys haven't checked it out as of yet. I guess my only complaints about it though, the grenade throwing is super. Like it's just basically it's just lobbish, so it's like you just lob it out there and just hope to God that it hits. So not a lot of control over the grenade throwing. Also the hitbox on the shooting, I would say needs some tweaking because it is definitely hard. Like on the Minotaurs, there's a part where you have to like shoot the Minotaur in the chest in this one specified area. A lot of boss fights were like that as well. So bosses will have hitboxes. You have to hit the hitboxes to do the damage. It is harder than heck to hit the hitboxes, though. So anybody that's played will know what I'm talking about. I don't want to kill all my time talking about Strange Brigade, but I would definitely say my game of the week, if you haven't checked it out, I'm going to let Will go with his game of the week. So please tell me about Divinity 2 on PS4. Worth it? I mean, does it translate well?
It does.
What's the verdict?
Even for the PS4 version, it's actually sitting at a 92 on Metacritic. So
wonderful.
It's actually got everybody has said the same thing, that they took one of the best PC games of all time,
right,
because of how much they put into this game. Like they took the first Divinity and then they just expanded so much on it that the story and the way that the game lets you do the story is so ridiculously open. Like like just in the beginning, like when you have to create your character, you can do one of two things. You can make a completely custom character where you choose everything. You make them look the way you want to look.
Right.
You pick your race, your class, all that kind of stuff, and what you want to play as. But they also have custom pre-made story characters that if you pick them, there will be parts of the game that are like they have like narrative driven bits that are specific for them and their backstory and who they are.
Sure.
So I went with one of those just because I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
He's an undead guy, so he has to hide his face from the general public because nobody likes to look at a skull for a face.
I heard an interesting thing about the undead too. They said that health potions hurt you, but yet
Yes.
poison potions heal you.
Yes.
So it's actually pretty clever.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
have to keep a big stack of poison vials
Gotcha.
to heal you, and things like anything that would normally heal a living person do
Right.
damage to you.
Now that's only for undead. So anybody who's jumping in the game, please just keep that note. I don't want you to kill yourself. So Yeah.
Don't drink a bunch of
Right,
poison and then go, what the hell?
Be like, well, Mike and Will said it was okay.
Yeah, but the
Right.
cool thing about it is, like, you start off where you're on a boat, and then you end up on an island, and the whole point is that you are a sorcerer, and the world blames all magic users because all the divine are supposedly dead and gone.
Gotcha.
And something to do with the way that magic pulls from where the source it pulls from is pulling like horrible monsters from a void somewhere, and they're blaming any magic users for that. And so you've been rounded up and you're on this island called Fort Joy, and you're going to be there's like a holy crusade that's going to rid you one way or another of your magic ability.
Fun.
And so you have to, the whole point of the first beginning area is you have to try to figure out how to escape. But the cool thing is it gives you so many different random things that you could do to do that.
Yeah.
Where I thought that I was like, all right, I figured it out. I know what I'm going to do. And I had talked to a guy and I saved his life. And then he was like, all right, go give these guys a password and then they'll let you take this boat and you'll be good. So I did that, and then this little kid was like, all right, so we're going to take my boat. It's right over here. And I was like, hey, you stay here. I'm not done yet. I'm going to go do more. And he's like, all right, that's fine. I'll just wait over here. So I went and did like a bunch more quests because I wanted to wrap stuff up before I left. I went back. Little jerk took off.
Nice.
So the boat was gone.
Just like a real child. Got it.
Yeah. So the boat was gone. That path was over. I couldn't do that anymore. And then I just happened to randomly find something that I wasn't really thinking about it. I just happened to pick it up and had it in my inventory. And I was in another room, and some guy's like, hey, give me that thing. And I was like, okay. And I did, and then he gave me something else. And then I managed to figure out a new way out of the place that I didn't even expect. I was just like, oh, I just escaped. Well then. So it's like, the ability to just kind of roam around and figure things out, it's really cool. But you have to like that kind of game because it is totally a PC, like Baldur's Gate, like CRPG, where,
it's a dungeon crawler. I mean, it's like
Right.
it's a lot like Diablo. Yeah.
It is, but it's not hack and slash because
Right.
every time you go into combat, it pauses. Each character has a number of, like, action points.
Oh, okay.
And so your action points determine, how many spells you could use or how many how much you can move around. It doesn't set up a grid or anything like a strategy game or anything. It's just like, okay, you have 5 action points.
Sure.
That spell is 3 action points, and then you use that, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to use this last 2 points to move over here a little bit or whatever.
Gotcha.
So it's more tactical. Like you have to kind of figure out what you should do when you're fighting, and but that's cool. So totally recommend it if you're into really, really deep RPGs.
Sure.
That's going to just suck a lot of your time out of you.
I gotcha.
So I mean, you could play it for like easily 60 hours and not have done everything.
So this is probably not a game for me because I don't have time for anything anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, but at least I can put it down. I can play it, and then I can just stop where I am and be like, all right, this is cool. And hopefully when I go back, I'm not like, where the hell am I?
Right.
But at least it keeps a journal, so it'll tell you everything you've done.
Cool.
You can kind of keep up with it. But the fact that there's so many things coming so soon going forward, I just don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
Gotcha. Well, cool.
So.
Well, I'm glad you had fun with it. Let's talk about other video games you can get yourself your hands on. Let's talk about games of the week. You can start, obviously, as of today, September 3rd. This is going to be good all the way up until the 9th. A special day on the 9th. I did not know if you knew that or not. There was somebody born on that day. Gee, I wonder who. Mystery. Yeah, maybe tune in next week to find out who it was. Dun, dun, dun. But let's start off with today, obviously, on Nintendo Switch. This would be September 3rd, Labor Day. Haha! I didn't do much labor today. Get it? Did you get it? Did you see what I did there? Okay. Yeah, we're moving on. All right, so you can get yourself Claws of Fury on Nintendo Switch. That's it for today. Starting tomorrow, you can get yourself Moonfall on Nintendo Switch. Ninjin Clash of Carrots on Nintendo Switch. 428 Shibuya Scramble on PC and PlayStation 4. Also, really cool game coming over finally. Dragon Quest IX, Echoes of an Elusive Age. Finally coming over to PlayStation 4 and PC. This game has been out on PS4 for a while in Japan, but now we are finally getting it here in America. So if you are a Dragon Quest game series fan, this is going to be right up your alley. So I'm definitely excited for that. Honestly, I probably will never get to play it.
I would love to.
I would love to.
But
yeah, I have such a big back catalog right now. Also, on the last game on the 4th, you can get yourself Son of a Witch on Nintendo Switch. That is it's a really cute, like, I would say, it's almost like an RPG, very kind of side-scroller-ish, but it's very cool, very turn-based. It's actually a really cool indie game. Definitely check it out. Starting on the 6th, though, you can get yourself Lifeless Planet on Nintendo Switch. You can get yourself Broforce on Nintendo Switch. Pun intended there. Broforce is probably the most ridiculous game I've ever played.
It really is.
It's so
ridiculous.
So good, though. Like, it's just basically like, if you take every single action hero from every single action movie ever made in the entire cinema genre of that. That's Broforce to a T.
Yep.
So it's like one point you can be Mr. T, another point you're like, John McCain. Not John McCain, I'm sorry. John McCain, God bless you, sir. Yeah. I'm sorry. God rest your soul. Right. John McClane, I'm sorry. Then other
you can be Blade.
Right, you can be Blade, you can be you can be Terminator, you can be Neo. I mean, it's just you can be Chuck Norris.
Except that all the names of each character have the word like bro in it.
Yeah.
In some way or other.
Right. So, but it's basically I'm trying to think the best way to describe this game. It's not even basically
almost like a bullet hell kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's side scrollers, but I mean it's like 3D. Well, not really 3D environments, but there's a lot of climbing aspects. There's a lot of like destructible universe. Basically the whole field is destructible. So it's like when you blow up a grenade or blow up a fuel tank or something like that. It's like you leave big holes, and you kind of have to reevaluate the way that you have to. Go about the map, and basically all you're trying to do is just get to the end. So you start at point A, trying to get to point B, where the helicopter is, but just the craziness of all the enemies.
It's so ridiculous.
It's a lot of fun though, as a friend. Obviously, the game's been out before. It's it's on PS4, Xbox One, PC.
Yep.
If you want to grab it now, but I think it'd be fun as hell on Switch.
Yeah.
It's just a fun game that you could hook up with your friends and just play. I think it'd be great. Great even on the go. Next game, obviously coming out on the 6th, is Hyper Light Drifter. That's it for the 6th. And then a big old hello, how do you do? Spider-Man. Marvel Spider-Man's finally coming over. That is a PlayStation 4 exclusive. I did not know if you knew that. Good job, PlayStation. A lot of people are excited about this game. I would say I would say this is the most anticipated Spider game ever, probably. Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah. I mean, people have been. I mean, it's just been nonstop, and obviously, there's been some controversy going around it right now.
Puddlegate.
Yeah, a little bit. But I'm gonna try my best, obviously, not today to bring up. There's a couple negatives on today's show, but there was a lot of negative in the news. With a lot of Fortnite news about 14-year-olds refusing to go to school and stuff like that because they're playing Fortnite. There was a kid that stole his disabled mother's credit card and ran up $1,000 worth of Fortnite V-Bucks because he didn't realize it was real currency. A lot of Fortnite craziness still. So apparently that's a thing still. But I'm not going to cover it, so go look it up yourself. I'm just throwing it out there.
We're going to tell you about some cool stuff.
Right.
Instead.
Well, I hope so. That's what we try to do.
Maybe.
We try to educate, and we
Yeah.
just try to build a community. That's all we're doing. So.
Mhm.
But also on the 7th, you can get yourself SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy on the Nintendo Switch. SNK, obviously, it's been out on PS4. I've never really super been into the SNK series for fighting games, that is. So it's an amazing game. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I don't know. I have no idea why it's just never been as popular. I guess, as such as like a Tekken or Street Fighter or something like that. It's been out for a while, but it's just I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there is an underground group for it. I mean, there's an underground group for everything. So yeah I don't know.
Yeah.
But also you can get yourself Yokai Watch Busters on Nintendo 3DS. We've heard about this game for a while, actually. I think at an eShop once, and actually it looks pretty cool if you're a Yokai Watch fan. You can also get yourself a game called Sigi, S-I-G-I, a fart of Mel Usania. I'm not making that name up. I'm not just trying to be funny here. Cool, I guess. Cool story, bro. Yeah. For all you NASCAR fans out there, I'm going to change my voice just like this. Woman, get in here. NASCAR Heat 3. Woo! PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Wow, that was really insensitive to our NASCAR fans. I apologize, but
it's terrible.
I'm sorry, but I mean it's true. So, because it's just a bunch of left turns. I'm sorry. That's it. That's it for the week. Obviously, more games coming out that you can shake a stick out coming in the next couple weeks. So hang in there, kids, because this is the time to buy video games, apparently. Yeah, it happens. Obviously, we'll talk about, it's September. We made it. We're, oh, dear God, we're 3 months away from Christmas. Dear God. So we have October, November. Yeah, 3 months, September, October, November, and then it'll be right in the holiday season. So, wow, this year has flown by. It has. Well, I've been with my job. I have been so busy. We've been trying. My site where I work is now in charge of this training program that we have coming in right now.
Yeah.
So we're in charge of bringing new people to our site and basically training them. We've been working on this thing for the last, let's say, 6.5 months, and we're not going to be done until probably November. So I pretty much devoted this whole year to training people because we've done what is called the structured training program, because normally it takes about 4 years to learn my job, just because it's a huge job with tax codes and stuff like that. I'm not saying that to obviously, brag or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a very, very complex job. So, and it just takes a long time to get into it and learn it. All the base stuff, like when I was trained, I had 3 months straight training. I was in a classroom for 3 months just learning this job. And we've broken it up because we have new tools that make the job a lot easier, into like 2-week sessions. So we've been doing these 2-week sessions in phases, but it's been a long time. So we have been just busting our butt doing it. And like we're in the travel phase right now because we have other sites. We have, Kansas City, and now we have Ogden, Utah, which I will not be traveling to, thank God. That are doing the same job. So, and once again, I'm not trying to brag, but it's been, the reason I say that is just because like this year has gone very quickly for me because this has been my primary focus is work. So that's all I'm saying. That was a really drawn out explanation for it's been a long year. So sorry, kids. Let's get back to video games, shall we? But let's talk about obviously free games you can get yourselves your hands on right now if you're a PlayStation Plus member or Xbox One Gold member. PlayStation Plus, I think I don't know how I feel about this because obviously we have our own opinions. But I would say if you've never checked out the game and you want to get it for free, I don't know what version it is though. That's the thing. I don't know if it's just the vanilla.
100% vanilla
okay.
Destiny 2.
That's what I figured. Okay, so they are gonna play the rope a dope. Okay, so they're gonna try to just rope you in, and then you're gonna be a dope for getting it. Destiny 2. Yeah, Destiny 2 is obviously PlayStation's Plus for September.
It's even more of a rope a dope than people think because if you get the game free for PlayStation Plus,
right,
and then think that you can just buy the expansion for Forsaken, you can't.
Wow.
It forces you to buy the other two expansions that have already happened also. So you have to spend, they're on sale for half off now, so you can get each one of those for $10. So first you get the game for free, but then you have to spend $20 on the old expansions that you're not going to play, just so that you can buy the new expansion.
Can we just have an honest conversation for a minute? Just the two of us. Yeah. Everybody else can listen in. It's fine.
Yep.
What happened to Bungie?
I don't know.
I really want to know. Like, at what point in time did they think this was going to be a good model and that they were just going to be able to just basically just crapping all over our hearts forever, you know?
Just constantly.
Well, because the guy I met down, you know, I was in Kansas City, Mike, he was a original Destiny player, and he's like, I loved the original Destiny, you know, and he's like, I even liked, you know, the expansions, but he's like, he's like, I didn't even give Destiny 2 a chance. He's like, because it was just crap, you know, and I was like, yeah, you're totally right. It's just crap. I honestly, I'm putting my foot down, and I know obviously we're in the month of the Forsaken expansion, and news news outlets are doing it again. They're just like, oh, there's a new, there's a new mode, and this is exciting. I'm not excited.
Because it will be over in 3 weeks.
I know.
If that, like maybe 3 weeks, if that, and then like drip fed a little bit more stuff from the people that also bought that spent $70 on this expansion because they bought another annual pass. Like, no, just no. Just no.
Well, like I said, it's the ongoing joke around here that Destiny 2 is like a bad relationship.
Yeah.
It's like you get into, I'll tell the joke again, fine, because people are still not getting it. You get into a relationship with somebody. You're in love, you think you're great, you're having fun in the relationship, and then there's a breaking point. Whether it been 2 weeks down the road, 3 weeks down the road, or, a year down the road, you really figure out who that person is, and then you're like, oh my God, this person is a piece of crap. And it takes everything to get out of it because you remember all the good times you had, but then you finally have some self-respect for yourself. You get out of the relationship, and you're moving on, and you're experiencing new things, some funner things, and then 2-3 months or a year down the road, you hear about this relationship you used to be in, and they call you. They're like, hey, I've changed, I'm better now.
Yeah,
I've done better things to help myself. I have new things now that I want you to come experience with me. And you're like, oh, okay, okay, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of lonely here. The well's kind of dry. I'll go and I'll go back, because you're still at that point to where you're like, God, I really miss how much fun we used to have, and we used to have this deep relationship. And then you go back and you have fun again for 2 to 3 weeks, but then you realize that person hasn't changed at all. They just slapped a new coat of paint on themselves and said that they're new. That's Destiny. What happened?
They got a new outfit, and that was it. They were like, oh, I bought some new clothes. That was the only thing that changed.
What happened to Destiny? Destiny started off with this beautiful thing. It was a lie from the beginning. It was basically a relationship that lied to you from the beginning, saying it was better than it was. And you realize that, and that was a big part of you breaking up with it. But I don't know what point in time, like, Bungie, I don't know if it's their backer. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's because Activision obviously is behind it right now. But it's like, what happened to Bungie? Bungie used to make quality games. Obviously the Halo universe, it was fantastic. I don't remember this kind of controversy with Halo, or am I totally off field? Was this...
I don't know. Halo got kind of stale after a while, but it was a different beast, though, at the time. It wasn't a games as a service thing.
Right, but I don't remember Halo, having DLC, behind
every 10 minutes.
Behind paywalls, and then obviously I don't remember DLC coming out for Halo that you'd spend $30 to $40 on, and then 6 months later they'd come out with the definitive edition that would have all the gear in it.
But that stuff hadn't really happened yet.
Sure. Okay.
And so, the bottom line is that we both just we have the same feelings about Destiny because
right.
we really
we're not the only two. I mean,
right.
I'm speaking for the masses
think,
right now. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's one of those games where the moment-to-moment gameplay is great. The world they built was great.
Mm-hmm.
It just fails on so many levels.
It gets stale. It gets stale so quick.
Extremely fast.
Yeah.
And it makes me mad that
yeah.
you know, I didn't buy the expansions for it because I said no when I got Destiny 2. So now with this one, it's one of those things where if I could have just spent, you know, $20 or $30 and just got the Forsaken stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'd go and just play the single player stuff and just get through it and be like, yeah, you know, yep, okay, they did this, and this, and there's a new area, and yes, but it'll be one more thing like, yeah, okay, and in 3 weeks I'm done.
Sure.
But I'm not going to do that because they're forcing me to buy stuff that I'm not going to touch.
Right. And that's why I say in this situation, I mean, if you want to go experience the game and obviously make your own opinion, please do. I've always asked people to do that. Please make your own opinion. So if
go play. Like if you've never touched it, this is a good game.
Yeah, I would say if you've never ever touched Destiny 2, go play it. It's free, obviously PlayStation Plus. Go get it.
And play through the entire campaign. Which I mean,
beware.
If you take your time, it'll take you, you know, maybe a week or so.
Right. Yeah.
You know, of gaming, you can get through the whole storyline.
Well, it was just sad because I remember like some of the expansions, like you would fly through in like 2.5 hours, and I'm like, oh god, yeah.
And then you were like, that. Okay, great.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
the other game the other game coming out with PlayStation Plus as well. I'm not gonna harp on this forever because we could talk about this for an hour. I know we can.
Yeah.
I know us. I know us.
Yeah.
But the other game coming out on PlayStation Plus, God of War 3. Remaster, so not too shabby.
No.
The Xbox games of gold, this is where it gets worse. Not the first game. The first game is whimsical and I love it because I play it on PC. But Prison Architect, if you've never played the game before, you build a prison. You're the warden of the prison. You control the prison. Interesting thing about the prison is, I mean, it's just, not interesting thing about it, but it's a very interesting game to play because, I mean, it's straight like sim style game. Like you're in charge of your inmates when they go to, you know, take showers and making sure that there's no contraband. And I mean, there's just a billion different things that can happen. So very, very interesting game. The other game that's coming out September 16th because Xbox still splits theirs, LiveLock. Now, LiveLock, correct me if I'm wrong, has this been a PlayStation Plus free game before? Or I feel really like Xbox has let this be in games of gold before, like a long time ago. I feel like they have. But LiveLock is a twin stick shooter. I'm sorry. Very fun, but I'm pretty sure Xbox has used that game before.
They may have, like
a game of gold.
I know that.
Yeah.
There's been one or two games that I swear have been that like a couple years ago.
Right.
Were PlayStation Plus games that just resurfaced.
I think they do that sometimes, and that's kind of crappy. So. Yeah. So you don't think we remember, but I have a pretty amazing memory. So I remember things like that. But yeah, LiveLock has been free before, whether it been PlayStation or whether it been Xbox. I'm pretty sure it was Xbox though. So pretty sure because I know I have it. Yeah. That would probably make sense. But let's talk about obviously the news you can use this week. I want to thank Will because last week I left Monday, so we did not record the show on Monday. We had to record Sunday. He was very gracious in his time schedule with me. But I did want to point out, Will, this is why we record on Mondays.
Yep.
So, so Monday, for those that missed it, if you've missed it, go to our Twitter page because I did post the videos on there. So please check out our Twitter page. I try to keep that up to date as much as I can. I work really hard on it. I would really appreciate you guys if you just followed us. But Monday, CD Projekt Red, dear God,
holy bananas.
Just out of nowhere. I mean, we were talking about them. Obviously, we just got off of Gamescom, right into PAX West. They introduced Monday, debuted their first ever gameplay for their obviously for Cyberpunk 2077. It features incredible mechanics, like the ability to slow down time, enhance mobility, strategically, ricocheting bullets off surfaces. There was a quote, obviously, from Adam Badowski he's the game director of it. He said, since many of the assets and mechanics in current versions of Cyberpunk 2077 are most likely to be modified, we initially decided to show the gameplay only to the media. Elements like gunplay, both in terms of visuals and how RPG stats influence it, net running, car physics, or the game's UI, everything's pretty much still the playtest phase, and we felt uneasy about publicly committing to any design. Animation glitches, work in progress you're about to see, however, we will make... we're also aware that many of you want to see, obviously, the media version of it, but they pointed out over and over and over again, and it's really relevant when you watch the trailer.
Yep.
That they said that this is just, this is like really super early on. It is kind of the point that they're making. So I'm damn impressed for even the early on stuff that I saw.
Yeah, for the fact that they said that, yes, the game is playable from start to finish. Yes, they have the ability to go in and complete quests and whatnot, but they haven't put in all their assets and all of their clutter and all of that kind of stuff.
All the detail.
Yet, that 40-something minute demo of them playing the game.
It was impressive.
It looked pretty damn full of stuff to me.
Yeah.
And it was the most densely populated city I have ever seen.
Sure.
Ever. Other than actually being in a city myself.
Well, and that's just kind of, I have to get this back to CD Projekt Red. I mean, this is just kind of the company they are. They just... They make already. I'm impressed, and they're like, no. This is going to be more impressive.
You don't know yet. Just wait.
You have no idea how amazing this is going to be.
This is just a touch, just a tiny, give you an idea of what we're thinking about. And that's it. So I just can't with that game.
My hat's off to them, though. I mean, it's just it's unreal. And I guess the only thing I'm confused by is it's still an RPG game. But it's just like it's very, I don't know. I mean, because Witcher was very RP3, but it was still open world. So I'm guessing kind of same concept of this is RPG. It's not turn based by any means, but just kind of very open world shooter. So I think they just nailed that formula, man. I think they just know how to make a game that way.
I feel like you're going to literally be able to, just like in The Witcher,
just go anywhere.
You start the game and just go, okay, I know I've got this quest to do already, but I'm just going to go wander that way and just kind of do things. Yeah. And, that's how it should be, to just allow you the freedom and the choice to go where you want and do what you want, but do the story in your own way. And I think obviously that's what they're going to give us, and we just wait patiently for it, and it will be amazing.
Yeah, I really hope so. So, your headphone is. Are you by a fan right now? You're super loud.
Sorry.
There you go. And you're better. All right. Yeah, just went to 0 to 1,000 real quick. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
And it's back again. All right.
I'm fine.
Is your headphones all weird right now? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay. We're good. But in other news, this is kind of where the bad kicks in for this show. Not really, though, because you're really not going to have to wait that long. But DICE did announce that Battlefield 5, a new release date. Obviously, it was scheduled for October before to compete with, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. They're pushing it back. They're going to push it back to November 20th. Not the worst thing I've ever heard. Obviously, it's not like the Crackdown 3 of pushbacks. Haha, burn on you. To where they're like, yeah, it's going to come out eventually, which is supposed to be this month. I haven't heard anything. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, nothing. But November 20th will be the new release date. Here's my only concern about Battlefield 5. I'm an EA Premier, Origin Premier, so I can get, I did it mostly for Battlefield 5 and Anthem and, Madden and things like that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into the beta, though. So, because if you pre-order the game, you got access to the beta. The beta's starting later this month. Since I'm an Origin member, does that mean I get access to the beta? I don't know.
You should.
I would hope so.
I don't know.
Because I'm paying them, $100 a year. So, why can't I play the beta? That's what I want to know.
Exactly.
So, But I guess worse things to complain about, I guess. I shouldn't even get into the beta to some kid in, Africa that's dying. So you're like, yeah, I didn't eat today or all month. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your white person problems. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
As they die over, as they're getting bombed in Afghanistan, be like, yeah, I didn't get into the beta, man. I know how you feel. Exactly how you feel.
Like, I didn't get into that beta either, except it's happening here now.
Right.
So, yeah.
This is the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone ever. So, white. Seriously, we have such horrible American problems. Like, we're sitting over here, I obviously know we still have starvation and homelessness in America, but not to the extent the rest of the world deals with it. I think it's funny that it's like people that are homeless were you have an apartment? Yeah, I have an apartment. Do you have cable TV? Yeah. 3 square meals a day? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, things aren't going, right for you. So I obviously I know that, obviously we live in oligarchy because, the 1% control everything, but I still think it's funny that we just don't have any idea what it feels like to actually be poor sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
What we look at and say, oh, this is just terrible.
Right.
We really don't know.
And we don't. And obviously, don't know. Well, I'm happy too. And obviously, I've worked very hard, to try to make sure that I provide for my, family and things like that. And I'm not trying to poke fun at, homelessness or people that are starving or anything by any means. I'm just saying, it just seems like we, in America, it's like sometimes our priorities are all messed up. And it's we have people out there, look at all these reality TV shows sometimes, with all these rich, spoiled white girls, and it's like, oh my God, you got me an Acura, I wanted her Mercedes, you hate me. I just kind of feel like it's just it's like my sweet 16 teenage, birthday party, every single day sometimes. Yeah,
it's just horrible.
That's how I feel. And I know that's been, obviously mocked a billion times, but sometimes I feel that way when I complain. Because there's so many other problems out there. It's like, oh my God, I didn't even get into the beta. Oh my God, I can't buy Fortnite skins. This is America. All right. But the price has finally been named for obviously we talked about the story last week. We talked about, Microsoft obviously setting the price for their subscription-based system that they're going to start running. Here's the thing I don't understand, though. I'll give you the prices here. So obviously, Microsoft announced that they haven't even locked this in as of yet, but it's supposed to be $22 per month for an Xbox One S, plus the Xbox Game Pass, which we said was very smart on their behalf to do. $35 a month for the Xbox One X with the Xbox One Game Pass. It's a 2-year...
Oh, and also Xbox Live.
Yeah, you're right. So it does come with Xbox Live as well. So you'll still get all the, Xbox games with gold and stuff like that too. So, but you're not going to need it with the Game Pass. You'll get every single game. But the thing is that I've heard that this is in-store only.
Yeah, you have to go to a Microsoft store to do it.
Right. So if you live in a place where you don't have a Microsoft store, tough luck. So... I don't think there's Microsoft stores in a lot of places.
And you have to have good credit.
Oh, okay. So they actually do a credit check on you.
Yep.
Nice.
They're also doing a credit check. So
well,
this is a very exclusive group of people only, apparently.
I'm going to check. Hold on. In America, how many Microsoft stores are there?
I don't know that there's one near me. I think there might be one downtown Boston, but...
There
might be one at
I know
mall.
I have one.
Personally, you have one?
Yeah, it's in my basement. We're busy all the time. It's 24/7. So
nice.
Pretty crazy. No, it's where we have all our tournaments at. It's at the Jordan Creek Mall is what we do. Cool. But it's just it's a kiosk. It's not even like a full blown store. I'm trying to see if I can find where there we go, store locations. There we go. Let's see. Locations. And, okay, so there's one in Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky. Well, I'm sorry, I'll start at the beginning. Arizona. I'm not going to read all the cities. You can go to Microsoft.com and do this also. Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Washington, Wisconsin. Ooh, sorry, Wyoming. So
I mean, that's still there are a lot of them.
There's a lot of
them.
them.
Saying that there's not, but the problem is like I've already seen some people say, yeah, that's cool and all, except that it's like a 4-hour drive to the closest one to where I live.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure there is one near here, but not.
Well, you're right. I mean, because in Massachusetts, it's Boston, Burlington, and Natick. So, yeah, there's only 3 locations. Iowa, it's only Des Moines. So you'd have to drive in from, out of town. Kansas, it's only in Overland Park. California only has a handful of them. And California is huge. Yeah. So, yeah, this is kind of depressing. You think they'd be, have an online model, and you think it would be bigger. Oh, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a smart idea. But you're
like they're shooting themselves in the foot with the way that they're
handling it.
Though.
Yeah, it's very exclusive. So you have to have a store, and you have to have good credit. So interesting how they're doing that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's still a cool idea. I've heard it's only a limited time too. I've heard that this is not like going to be ongoing. So I'm guessing they're. Yeah. I'm going to call this what it is. It's a beta test.
Yeah.
This is what they're
to
doing.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
So you know who just recently did something like this, and it seems to have worked extremely well.
Who's that?
Amazon.
Oh, okay.
All of their PC stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not all. Because it's weird, the stuff that is and isn't. But to get people into gaming PCs or things like that, you can pay for it over 5 months, but it's a very rigid schedule of it's 30 days from the initial payment, and then every time your payment comes out, it's the next 30 days. It's not like the first of every month or whatever.
Sure.
But the cool thing is there's no interest, no anything tacked onto it, and no credit check. It's literally as long as you have Amazon Prime and you've been an Amazon member for X amount of time, you can do this and just be like, oh, that $1,000 computer, I would like that, but I don't have that money. Oh, well, you can pay it in 5 months worth instead.
Gotcha.
And so if they did it and they did it like that, that's how it should have been for Xbox. Just said, okay, yep. You're going to pay up front, you'll pay all the taxes for it.
Right.
And then the first month's fee, and then you pay it however much it's going to be for the next X amount of months.
Sure.
And then when it's done, you own it. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like with Microsoft, it's like they should just change their slogan to things we could have done better. I mean, it's been just one massive flop after the other, unfortunately, with them. I'm not here to badmouth them, but because I know they listen, because apparently they got this 2-year idea from us, because we've been saying that forever.
Right.
But it's just I don't know where to go with this anymore. So I'm just waiting for the next amazing thing that you promise that you don't deliver on. So I don't know. I mean, the only thing, like I said, the only thing I think that would be beneficial for this program, but right now I have nothing to gauge it on, would be is if you signed up for the 2-year program, and then every 2 years you could get the new system.
Yeah.
But right now, I mean, there's no word on new system, so there's no guarantees. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I think it's very smart because obviously you get the system, you get the Game Pass, you get online. Ultimately, which roughly, I mean, if you really price it out, I mean, you're roughly spending anywhere from $600 to almost $800, depending on the system that you choose. I mean, that's a dream for it's a dream for anybody that wants to game on a budget. So yeah,
exactly,
right. So, but I wish them the best of luck because, like I said, I don't think it's a bad idea. I just think that they should. I don't know. There's better ideas of how to make that work. So, but to each his own.
Yep.
But moving on. I don't know if you guys remember this game. You may be a little bit too young. If not, congratulations. We are now seeing another game brought back from the dead. So obviously, nearly 25 years after its last entry. It's been 25 years. That's how old I feel. PAX West showed us a demo for Streets of Rage 4. It's being finally made. Axel's still in it. He's obviously significantly aged. He now has a bushy beard and a dad bod, but he's still a force to be reckoned with. And Blaze, she's aged more gracefully, thank God. Right now, it was only an early demo that they showed at PAX West. We'll let you know when obviously more news becomes available. But I wanted to sidebar this real quick. We got about 12 minutes left. But what's up with... we'll have another conversation, just the two of us. Everybody else can listen in. What's up with old games becoming new again? Have you noticed? I mean, it's like they've redeveloped the Wonder Boy series, Streets of Rage now. It just seems like, obviously these Neo Geo games, or obviously like Sega games, trying to
just bring back a lot of the hidden gems that that had been missed out on.
Well,
by probably a lot of people.
Toe Jam and Earl.
I know, that's great.
Will be out this year. So I think it's interesting that they. They're still, bringing in these series and games. I mean, I'm not hating it by any means. I don't think it's horrible. I just think it's interesting that they're just breathing breaths of fresh air back into games that have been, dead for, decades.
So very long.
Yeah. So, and I mean, we can talk about relevance and things like that, but it's just very interesting to see. So that they're doing all these, older games into newer generations. Well, I mean, they did the same thing with music and movies too. So now it's in video games. So, but I did want to say, obviously, a heartfelt goodbye to a very special friend that we all remember. So Sony Interactive Entertainment, after care of the service of the PlayStation 2, is ending. So if you own a PlayStation 2, they're not going to be supported anymore at all.
Yeah. Wow.
So after September 7th, so this Friday, so they will not be serviced. They will not be supported. PlayStation's finally saying goodbye to the once beloved console. I think that was the only PlayStation I never had, was PlayStation 2. Never had one. No. It was interesting because we had a PlayStation forever. Like, my mom won one in a contest. I was probably the first kid in my whole city because I lived in Wyoming. So you do the math. There's
right.
It's very barren. But I was the only kid for a long time before they started getting super popular and people started buying them that actually had one of these and saw the potential in video gaming like this. But the where I was going with my story is we did a the foreign exchange student program 1 year, and I remember PlayStation had just roughly started getting really, really popular here, and this was like 95, 96 roughly. And I remember this kid came over and he was like, "Yeah, we have PlayStation 2 over in Japan." And we're like, "What the hell is PlayStation 2?" Because it wasn't here in the States.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, PlayStation 2, man." And that's kind of like, that's how I knew, like, that day, like, video gaming, like, crosses any language barrier ever. Because, like, this kid barely spoke English, but we talked video games like we understood each other. So that's how I know the power in video gaming. So, because everybody, I mean, obviously we fight about religion, we fight about politics, we fight about money, we fight about, all these other differences in our world. One harmonic, bringing together is usually music, video games, and media. So I think it was fantastic just to have that experience. But cool. Goodbye to PlayStation 2. So PlayStation 3 is probably right around the corner then. Dear God, I feel old. So there's just sometimes when you hear stories and you're like, yeah, this isn't being supported anymore, or the 35th anniversary, and you're like, oh God, like I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah,
and then
I remember I remember seeing that in the movie theater. And
right.
You're like,
holy crap, yeah. Wow. Like it was, like they're like 30th anniversary of Ghostbusters, and you're like, oh my God, like seriously, yeah. So it's hard getting older sometimes. How do you do it, Will? I don't know.
I don't know.
Old
man.
I know, right? Old man Will. Moving on, though. So Fortnite, obviously, this is not the story about the kids being crappy about it. But Epic Games announced that Fortnite will be getting a new event called High Stakes, which introduces a bunch of extra goodies for the Battle Royale title, including Getaway. It's a limited time mode. The developer revealed the event during a live stream at PAX West over the weekend. Getaway sees players competing in squads of 4, where you and your teammates must hunt down one of 4 safes dotted around the map. Each one contains a llama jewel, and you'll need to grab it before returning to a van and make your getaway, hence the name. That actually sounds a lot of fun. The first of 4 teams to accomplish this will win. In addition, High Stakes also throws in some new clobber in the shape of a wild card outfit, which actually looked pretty interesting, which can be purchased from the item store. The new outfit will also add 4 unlockable head styles featuring different mask designs. Finally, there's a new item up for grabs, the Grappler. So it's a grapple gun. Which allows you to, which actually looked like a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
Which actually, it allows you to navigate around the map Batman style with ease. Although there's not a lot that we know about the data when this is going to happen. They tweeted out this week that it was going to happen soon, so just stay tuned for that. I know I'm talking a lot about PAX West news, but PAX West is going on right now, so that was be the reason why. But also good news, everyone, in my best Farnsworth voice. Speaking during a PAX West panel over the weekend, Anthem developer BioWare confirmed that the upcoming loot shooter will not charge for any additional story DLC. While the game will actually give players the option of purchasing in-game items such as cosmetics and gear, finally, thank you for an EA back game. It won't lock any game behind any paywall wall. So fantastic news on that one. I was actually really excited to hear for that. But Mark Dara clarified that any cosmetic items can be earned while playing the game. So if you don't want to buy them, you can earn them. So it finally sounds like they're listening to their player base. Fantastic. But also they released the game the release date. I'm sorry, that was the word I was looking for. The release date was finally announced as well. So mark your calendars, February 22nd, 2019. That you can get yourselves hands on Anthem. I was really worried about how that game was gonna go forward, but it sounds like because BioWare's behind it, BioWare's not letting EA taint it,
push them around. Yeah.
Right. So I'm actually really happy about that. So, yeah, like I said, good news. I can't complain. But then the last game I want to talk about too, that was also at PAX West, which I think is, I looked at the gameplay and it looks very, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say Bloodborne or Dark Souls. It's very dark, but I mean, it's supposed to be an RPG, so definitely not like those games. But the game's called Hellpoint. It's by Cradle Games and Tiny Build. They said it's a brand new occult themed sci-fi RPG set on a board of a derelict space station. It's going to come out on PlayStation 4, PC, Switch, and Xbox One. It's interesting to hear games still, AAA titles being announced on Switch, which is kind of cool now. But they said Hellpoint takes place during the aftermath of a massive quantum cataclysm. And as you explore the space station to find out what caused it, they said that's easier said than done, though. You'll be stalked by mobs and demonic forces from the realms of deep space. Hellpoint will take advantage of dynamic events to the station's orbit cycles, which press blurb says you'll allow to discover new depth to the story. Combat, meanwhile, sees you crafting weapons and skills using a revolutionary power crafting system with supernatural elements also coming into play before rituals that affect your enemies, power and resilience. So it actually looks really cool. It's supposed to be out in 2019. No release date out as of yet. But I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really, really interesting to see that, especially Cradle Games and Tiny Build were teaming up on that one. So, fantastic. So I really hope for good things on that one. The last thing I want to go over is, we don't have any more stories, but I did want to go over, obviously, our public events that we'll be at coming up. We just announced it, but this month's Battlegrounds, which is going to happen on the 22nd of September, so please get excited. We are going to make it Tekken 7 themed. So if you are a Tekken 7 player, interested in coming out and showing us your skills, please do. Bring your fight sticks, bring anything you need, make yourself known, make your presence known. If we get a big enough turnout for it, I think we are going to hold a tournament. So trophy being made right now, just so you know. So yeah, cool. I will actually say this right now. There is going to be a Tekken 7 tournament. So make sure you show up at Battlegrounds this month, because there is actually a trophy being made. So you can win a trophy. We may even have some prize money. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how many people show up. So hopefully it's a good time. But that's it for the week, man. You got anything else you want to add?
No, there was a lot of really cool stuff this week.
Yeah.
Just one little quick thing. Yeah. Onimusha. The original Onimusha being remastered. That's crazy.
There you go.
There hasn't, speaking of the PS2, there hasn't been one since PS2.
Jeez. So, once again, games coming back from the dead. So,
yeah.
There you go. But that's all the time we had this week. We do love you. Obviously, check us out, noobsandpros.com. Thank you to Player One Coffee. Thank you to Video Games Monthly. And also check us out Thursday nights, Podcast Radio Network. Thank you to them. But we got to get out of here. We do love you. And
we do.
Have a great weekend, guys. We'll have a great week, that is. We'll see you next week. So we'll talk to you later. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to the Dads That Game radio podcast. Email us your questions and hate mail to dadsthatgamepodcast@gmail.com.